The meeting is called to order. This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, a list, annually, indicating that this work session, regular meeting, would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 25th, 2017. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then an invocation given by Chanel Robinson. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation.
Please remain standing.
May those assembled here today enjoy the many offerings of our township. May we abide by the rules we have established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics, and may we place service above self in our daily endeavors. And may we always test ourselves in our efforts to be sure they are the truth, good for all concerned, a benefit to mankind, and provide peace and understanding.
Thank you, Madam Master Clerk.
Councilman Chase, Councilwoman Francois, Mayor Kramer.
Here.
Councilman Onijaka. Councilman Prasad.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wright.
Thank you. Two very slight announcements or points before we get started. First, we don't usually do this, but there's a lot of people here to celebrate, and I just thought it would be good for the videographer to show the audience. We normally don't show the audience in these, but I thought the viewing public would want to see how many people are here to celebrate all these great things. And then the other thing while he's showing that is I apologize for the stain on my tie, but since the video is now looking at the audience, you won't notice it, hopefully. The next item are commendations and proclamations, and that's what this room is here and packed for. And first up, we are having the honor of honoring the 2017 tournament champions, the Franklin girls varsity basketball team, first in the state. Councilman Wright didn't even wait for me to introduce that he would be presenting it. Good for him.
Turn it on. Carl, turn it on.
Testing.
Man, get in the limelight. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in the limelight.
You're not supposed to be taller than that.
Don't they make a lovely sight?
Yes.
These are the Tournament of Champion winners for Franklin Township. So first off, let's give them a big hand. Chanel is not part of the Tournament of Champion winners. What I would like to do is, in the sake of time, is talk about our Tournament of Champion winners. I went and saw the game, And the game was tight, back and forth, back and forth. You know, it just seemed like the movement went back and forth. It was a beautiful flow, outstanding game. Then all of a sudden, it was like crunch time. Crunch time. And everybody was standing around going, I think they make it. I hope they make it. And everyone was standing up because last shot time. Last shot. And the shot goes in the air. It bounces off the rim. But somebody was standing on the other side. Caught the ball, was like, shoot that ball! She hits that nice little fadeaway. Ball goes through the net, and everybody starts screaming. So let's go, screaming up here. Now, at that point, when we saw the ball go through the net and everybody runs out onto the court and everybody starts screaming, all that good stuff, the fans were going nuts. Literally, fans were jumping up and down. Everybody was hollering. You know, I won't say that we were hollering at everybody, but anyway, we were hollering, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was not only, how can I say, the fact that we won, it was about teamwork. It wasn't one individual by themselves. It was a team where individuals who made up the team did beautiful. So I want to thank you for bringing happiness to Franklin Township. Now, one other thing before I read the proclamation. I want that shirt. Now, everybody says we can put the order form in and all this other kind of stuff, but I want the shirt. Extra, extra large. Okay? I don't want any of this, and I don't want any of that. I want my shirt, okay? Now, let's get with the proclamation. No, come on, move around.
It ain't
move
free,
around.
Carl.
Come on over here. Yeah, come on, come here. Come on. Come on.
You know who ranks.
Come
Chanel.
on, come on. You come over too. You come over too. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay. Where'd my mayor go?
There's in there.
Okay. First I thought he was over there. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to give these to Mr. Mayor. Hold those. And then, shh, not everybody's supposed to know that. Commendation for the ladies of Franklin Township. Whereas the Franklin Township High School girls varsity basketball team, under the head coach of R.B. Taylor, assistant coaches Simona Patterson and Alicia Kavanaugh, and volunteer coach Carl Gray, is to be recognized and honored for their outstanding 2016-2017 season. And whereas an extraordinary effort, this dynamic 2017 Group 4 state championship team captured the 2017 NJSIAA Tournament of Champions trophy with a victory over the Manasquan High School Warriors 50-48, with a buzzer beater by Kennedy. There you go. And whereas the 2016-2017 Lady Warriors consisted of, come on, name them all. There you go.
Diamond Miller, Camille Gray, Monique Davis Campbell, Lauren Vladak, Tiana Jackson, Kiana Schneck, I probably said that wrong, Kennedy Shank, Kirsten McLeod, Kiara McLeod, Serena Jackson, and team managers Chloe Conover, Andrea Gallagher, and Leslie Salas.
Now, therefore, we, Carl Wright, Councilman, and Philip Kramer, Mayor, honor the 2016-2017 Franklin High School varsity girls basketball team and their coaching staff for their outstanding achievements and commend them for their display of sportsmanship and leadership. I forgot to mention, I want that one too. Now, what I want is the AD, the coach, to come up, say hello, bring greetings, and then we can do everything else. So, here comes the AD.
Thank you, Councilman Wright, members of the Town Council, Mr. Mayor.
We really appreciate the proclamation tonight and the recognition. The coaching staff and the girls, it was an amazing run. We appreciate everything that they did. Community really got behind us, them, and it was just an amazing experience. We do want to let you know that on June 1st, we are going to have a banquet, ring ceremony for the team and the young ladies. Just take a look at the website. More information is coming out about that. But we will be having a dinner banquet that people can attend. We'll be using it as a fundraising event. And then after the banquet, we will open it up to the entire community, and you'll see your Lady Warriors getting their rings. So again, thank you, Franklin Township, for supporting the team. And I'm going to turn it over to Coach Audrey Taylor.
Good evening. I'm going to keep it short because I'm actually going to allow one of the players to speak, because I feel like hearing it from their experience is probably a little more exciting than hearing it from mine. I will quickly just go through that moment. It was breathtaking, to say the least. My heart stopped probably around that last minute. I probably stopped breathing, but my mind kept working, so thank God for that. But just to see the way the girls handled themselves and the composure that they handled, to see the maturity, to see the trust that they all built in one another, the growth that we went throughout the season. For me, that was the best fulfillment, with or without the win, just to see them and to become a family. I don't know if a lot of you understand the sports, but it's a lot of time on the court. It's a lot of time with each other. There's ups, there's downs, there's arguments, there's good times, there's laughs. But at the end of the day, we all know we're here for the same reason. We love one another, and we're out here to win and absolutely represent the community in our school. So hopefully we did a good job by doing that, and I'm going to allow Lauren to come up and speak for a minute.
My team and I would just like to thank the town council for honoring us tonight. The experience was great. It was extraordinary. Like, from the minute we came to the Tournament of Champs to the end when we won, it was breathtaking, and I think each and every one of us could not say it any other way. We had no idea what was going to happen, but we wanted to thank everyone for coming out and supporting us no matter what and following us through till the end, because this season was so different from any other season, and it was one of the best. Thank you.
Thank you. As I said before, I am not a sports fan. I hate sports. And I was at that game next to the president of the BOE, and I had the time of my life. It was so incredibly exciting. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done, and that's even without them winning. And when the last second, going down to the last second and them winning, it was amazing to me. The town should know that only Mo is not returning. She's a senior. You're going on to where are you going to? Have you picked a school yet? Because a lot of schools picked you. Which school did you pick? Come on up. Come on up.
Drew University.
And how many schools picked you? How many schools did you get accepted to? And what are you majoring in? Engineering. So. And people question the quality of our school system. These are our representatives. They're coming back. They're going to do a good job. And don't you worry. I gave the coach a number of tips for how to play next year, so we're going to be okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So since you just said that, I think that you should also recognize that the coach was also the New Jersey girls basketball coach of the year.
I didn't know that. No, I know that. But did you want to? Okay. I didn't know that. That's incredible. And I know that the rest of the council, by by the way they've slid over there. I think they all want to be involved with this picture, so everybody come on down. And this is just one group we are very proud of. I can stand in front, I won't block it. No, don't get real close. No, it's too late now. It's too late now.
Yeah. Get up here. Get up in this shot.
What?
Who's down there? Come on.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, you need all these hands?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's all right. That's your thing. It's not my. It's.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was like,
We have another one. So whoever's missing.
Right in front. Things, could you get
I want my shirt.
Okay, that was great. We have a commendation for the Franklin Township Youth Council, and this is also, is this, no, that's associated with, which, is that by itself, or is that with?
it's with Safi's and the alcohol awareness.
Ah, okay. So if we could have the rec people up, and, okay. Councilwoman Francois, do you want to read for the Youth Council? So, Alice Osipowicz, the Director of Rec, why don't you start us off and tell us why we're all here?
Okay, my name is Alice Osipowicz. I'm Director of Parks and Recreation, and I'm also the chairperson for the Franklin Township Youth Services Commission and the Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse. So we're starting with the Youth Council recognition, and recognition for Safi Callan as the Youth Council Coordinator. And this year, the Youth Council program was recognized by the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association for excellence in programming. So we're taking this opportunity this evening to recognize Safi for her leadership and dedication that has resulted in a program that's made a significant impact on the lives of Franklin students. As a mentor and role model, she's inspiring young people to become the leaders of tomorrow. And through the Youth Council program, the members have developed organizational skills. They're challenged to show initiative, and they're encouraged to embrace community service. And together, they've made Youth Council a model program that other communities seek to duplicate. So honored to be recognized for their significant contribution that they make to Franklin Township. So we have a certificate for Safi. I guess, yeah. Yeah. So this one's for Safi and that one's for Youth Council.
I'll read the one for Safi. Safi has a lot of hidden talents. She's just not good with working with youth. She's wonderful with making programs and all kind of graphic arts. She's missed her calling. Anytime I need help with any type of youth programs, I always call up Safi, and she does a job that's phenomenal. I keep telling her she needs to open up a side business. We still want her here in Franklin, but she needs to open up a side business. And she does a wonderful, wonderful job with our youth. So I'm going to read this commendation because we don't want to slight Safi. Commendation recognizing Safi Callan. On Tuesday, March 7, 2017, Safi Callan, Program Coordinator for Franklin Recreation and the Franklin Township Youth Council, accepted the Daniel M. Gosselberti Excellence in Recreation Programming Award from the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association for the Franklin Township Youth Council. As the coordinator of the Franklin Township Youth Council, Safi is to be recognized for advancing youth service, service learning, and leadership development of Franklin's young people, ensuring that all of our youth voice is integrated in program planning, implementation, and peer-to-peer coaching as well. She also is encouraging youth in the development of school, community-based partnerships that have led to a deepening of civic engagement amongst youth leaders, thereby educating participants on social issues while providing meaningful engagement and service experiences. As a result of these service learning projects, these students are equipped, high school and middle school, with the 21st century skills needed to succeed in school and career while fostering the commitment to community leadership. On behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, our Mayor, Philip Kramer, congratulates Safi Callan on this 25th day of April 2017 for being an inspiration and mentor to nearly 300 Franklin teenagers over the past 10 years. Let's give her a round of applause. And as we can see, all of her students are here to support her. Thanks for coming out, guys. Okay, Safi, we want to hear from you.
Hi. I thank you to everyone. Honestly, it's really an honor to work with you guys. I know that I brag a little bit about the youth council members because I'm just kind of in awe of what you do. You come in, some of you as 12-year-olds in the 7th grade, and you're with me until you're seniors. And every single time, every single year, I assume that I'll get used to it, and I never do. So thank you for constantly amazing me. One of the things that I had said when I was at NJRPA, where we initially got this award, was to take stock in what you do and who you are. Not just the youth, but all of the adults that get to touch young lives every day. You don't understand the impact that you have on them, and it is everlasting. So just a couple days ago, I got a thank you note from a college student who said, no one looked at my grades and would have thought that I was a leader, but I'll be getting a leadership award tomorrow, and that's in part because of the community service that I did in Franklin. So when I think about what our emblem says, how it says that we're building the community, I look at you and I know that that is probably some of the truest words ever spoken. So thank you guys for being pretty awesome. Okay.
Come on up here, Youth Council. Come on up. We're going to take a big group photo. You can, all around here. There's always an opportunity to get a photo op in Franklin Township. You'll be in the newspaper. look at all of them. We want everybody in TV land to see you guys out there. You're on television. Live TV. And there's room over here too. We want to see all of your lovely faces. Come on over here.
Oh, my goodness.
Make sure of it.
Hey, some of you can stand up here.
We got to make sure that we got everybody in the picture.
Hey, you can
Everybody's in the
come
picture?
stand
Okay,
up
good.
here.
I'm going to read this commendation on you all's behalf. So this is for you, Youth Council. It says, on Tuesday, March 7, 2017, the Franklin Township Youth Council was recognized with the Daniel M. Gasselbarty Excellence in Recreation Programming Award for the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association. Each and every member of Youth Council Youth is to be recognized and share equally in the accolades bestowed for your dedication and contribution to the township and the residents that benefit from your leadership activities. Please continue to challenge yourselves to excel, lead, and set a positive example for others as you develop your skills to be the future leaders of our community. We are also so proud of you, and we love you, and keep up the good work, and thank you for representing Franklin Township the way you do. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Picture? Anybody else want to take pictures? Good. Okay. Everybody good? Got all the pictures for the newspaper? Thank you for your commitment and service to our community. Thank you, guys. We're done. Mayor, you want to say something? There's too many to shake your hands.
Carl? Carl Wright? There were a couple of those people I was taller than.
I'll do my best. Okay.
Okay.
You
Whatever
okay?
you prefer, whatever you
Well, again, thank you to all of your hard work, and thank you to the mayor and council for recognizing the hard work of the recreation staff and youth council. So we're also pleased to be here because April is Alcohol Awareness Month, and I want to thank the Township Council for recognizing the importance of this month's celebration.
Okay, so we have a proclamation to read here, 2017 National Alcohol Awareness Month. Whereas excessive drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths among underage youth each year, and whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States, and whereas nearly 10 million young people ages 12 to 20 report that they've consumed alcohol in the past 30 days, whereas young people who begin drinking before age 15 are 4 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence than those who begin drinking at age 21. And whereas drinking by persons under the age of 21 is illegal, yet people age 12 to age 20 drink 11% of the alcohol consumed in the U.S. And whereas the typical American will see 100,000 beer commercials before he or she even turns 18. And whereas kids who drink are more likely to be victims of violent crime, to be involved in alcohol-related traffic crashes, and to have serious school-related problems. And whereas a supportive family environment is associated with lowered rates of alcohol use for adolescents. And whereas young people who have conversations with their parents and learn a lot about the dangers of alcohol and drugs use are 50% less likely to use alcohol and drugs than those who don't have such conversations. Therefore, on behalf of Phil Kramer, Mayor, and behalf of the entire Township Council, please join me in the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, Inc., NCADD, and the Franklin Township Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse and the Parents Who Host Lost the Most campaign to proclaim that April 2017 is Alcohol Awareness Month in Franklin Township. And as Mayor of Franklin, also call upon all citizens, parents, governmental agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, hospitals, schools and colleges in the community and surrounding areas to support efforts that will provide early education about alcoholism and addiction and increase support for individuals and families coping with alcoholism. Through these efforts, together, we can provide hope, help, and healing for those in our community who are facing challenges with alcohol use and abuse. Thank you.
The Alliance is made up of volunteers from the community and representatives of the township departments and school district and community agencies. And tonight we have Catherine Shaner, our Alliance coordinator, Safi Callan, Youth Council coordinator and rec coordinator, Bruce Medley, Franklin Youth Initiative coordinator, as representative of the Alliance here this evening. It's a labor of love that people take on when they become part of the Alliance, and we really believe that the majority of people in the community are not engaging in the use of illegal substances, and our young people are not involved in underage drinking. However, there are so many issues that people are facing with addiction every day. But to kick off the April Awareness Month, the Alliance sponsored our annual Teen Summit. A lot of the young people here this evening were at the summit. 150 teens were there. We had workshops on topics such as human trafficking, vaping and e-cigarettes, mental health, college readiness, self-defense, the addiction and recovery, and underage drinking. So there was a lot of information to get out of that workshop and some fun interactive experiences as well. But besides helping to educate our youth, we're also trying to target our parents and adult population with our Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign, which we kick off at this time of year. So you can probably see some of the large signs on some of our street corners. We also have lawn signs that we encourage people this evening, if you're interested in one. We have them at the rec office. We're looking for them to be up in the community during the months of May and June, when there are a lot of celebrations around prom and graduation. On May 10th, we're working with the school district and we're hosting Parties, Proms, and Pitfalls, a program that's targeted and geared at seniors and their parents. There's information on the legal issues, prevention perspectives, and a talk about personal tragic experiences. And from looking at prevention and from another direction, on May 18th, at Sampson G. Smith School, we're inviting residents to an introductory program on mindfulness. And I was watching a TED Talk before I came, and the professional there said, really represented what mindfulness is about with a short statement saying it's paying attention on purpose in the present moment in a non-judgmental fashion. So there's things that we can do to try to focus better, be more attentive, listening, and in the long run, hopefully that helps us deal a little bit better with anxiety and frustration and help to prevent addictive behaviors. So it's an introductory workshop. If anyone is interested, we certainly invite you to that evening. Again, we'd like to thank the Somerset County Board of Chosen Freeholders, the New Jersey Governor's Council on Alcoholism for their grant support, and please keep in mind that Parents Who Host Lose the Most. Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, Patricia Leonard, I don't see you. Are you? Okay, we'll handle that later. Actually, I'll handle that now. Patricia Leonard has been on the Trails Committee since the inception of the Trails Committee, and we are honoring her with a proclamation. Franklin Township is blessed with 60 miles of, whereas Franklin Township is blessed with 60 miles of beautiful trails, and whereas the mission of Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee is to monitor the condition of the township trails and to promote their use, and whereas increases in the use of trails increases people's understanding of the value of being good stewards of our environment, as well as increasing their professional well-being and health. And whereas Patricia Leonard has been a member of the Trails Advisory Committee since April 8th, 2008, and whereas her participation and contribution are too numerous to mention, now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Phil Kramer, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby thank and commend Patricia Leonard for her devotion to our community and residents, and wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. There's, Mr. Chairman, you're presenting a, so is the FYI Municipal Alliance here? Is someone here from them? Okay. There she is. All yours, Ross.
So, Franklin Day Festival. Every year for the last 3 years, we have watched this grow into a fabulous, fabulous event for this community, and we have been rewarded by the increased attendance every year. Last year, we had over 10,000 people attend this event here in Franklin Township. It was just an amazing event. Thank you. It takes a lot of work. We start working on this almost immediately after the one is last year is finished. We started working within months for the 2017 event, which is going to happen on September 23rd in Colonial Park from 12 until 5. So the reward of having so many people enjoy the event is very important, because there's a lot of work that goes into this, and you have to do it from your heart. Otherwise, it's really just work. The other wonderful thing that comes out of this event is that we are able to take some of the money that has been raised through the generosity of people who work within with the township, or companies within the township who contribute and support, become donors and sponsors. And with that money, we are able to use some of that to support some of the very important programs, some of which you've already heard about this evening. These guys have been up here so many times, it's almost your council meeting tonight. But the Recreation Department, Alice, and all of the staff that's up here are so integral to bringing these kinds of programs to Franklin Township. And they do get support, but they can always use some more support, because the more money they get, the more they can do. And this is really for our students. This is really for all of you guys out here. We want to make sure you get the messages about information, and we want to make sure that there are programs that will work for you for the summer, or whatever other programs that they work on. So as a way of showing our appreciation for all of the work that you guys do, I have 2 rather large checks that will be, the real ones will be issued shortly. One to the Franklin Youth Initiative, and we thank our Councilwoman Kimberly Francois and Bruce for all of their work in bringing that together and starting it and standing behind it. And then there is an additional $500 check for the Municipal Alliance, which I am proud to say I'm a member of, and I know what kind of work these guys do, and I really admire all of what they're doing. So enjoy the money for the purposes for which it was meant, and help our kids grow even more. Thank you, and thank you very much.
The last commendation is for the 2017 Franklin High School Model UN Team Competition. If all of those participants can join us, and Councilman Rajiv Prasad will be presenting the proclamation.
So this is proof that Franklin High School is not just a physical powerhouse, we're also a mental powerhouse. And our 2017 UN team, Model UN team, actually won on a national basis the second place. And and Abuli herself received an award of distinction, so it was important to point out that we are also champs in excelling in our mental sphere as well as the physical sphere. So, of course, our commendations and congratulations to the basketball team. So it's only fitting that we balance it out. So let me read the commendation. Whereas the Franklin High School Model UN team placed second in the 2017 Model UN Conference in New York City in March. And whereas during this 4-day competition with over 1,000 people competing, various topics were debated, from disarming Houthi rebels to LGBT rights, and whereas the Franklin High School Model UN team includes Aboli Raut, Avinash Maniam, Michael Galuli, Nick Battarillo, Timothy Van, Shreya H. Patel, Shreya Pugalia, Andrew Yong, Shreya Ratan, Sneh Patel, Colin Nadolski, Shravan Venkatesan, Brandon Heimberg, Brianna Rao, Chris Leone, Remy Salom, Kimberly Lau Lim, Viha Patel, Max Perron, and Karina Rao, and whereas Aboli Raut, a junior, received the award of distinction. Now therefore be it resolved that we, Rajiv Prasad Councilman and Philip Kramer Mayor, on behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, hereby commend all the Model UN members on their success and awards attained at the 2017 Model UN Conference. So with that, thank you. You made us proud, and next year we hope you come back as champs. So good luck, and we'll give you each one your own. Now, who is going to speak and tell us all about it, what happened, and please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so first I'd just like to thank the council very much for this proclamation. You know, it's an honor to be recognized for all of this. Sure. I guess just, I know I speak for myself and I speak for everyone here. When it's just nice to, be able to do what we love to debate these topics and open our eyes and our minds to all these different issues that are going on in the world. And just thanks again to the community for supporting us. I'm in youth council as well, and it's because of this sense of community that, we're able to do what we do effectively. So thank you.
All right, so, Mayor?
Well, I think Mr. Prasad summed it up. We had an example of athleticism, and within that athleticism, we had an example of brains, and now we have another example of brains. This is a school system that is great and getting greater. And these are our ambassadors. In this case, literally our ambassadors. So thank you all for making the town look good. Thank you very much.
Also want to recognize the fact that Aboli Rout is also a junior commissioner in our Human Relations Commission. So she is participating and making a difference there as well, representing the youth and the high school for all the human relations issues. So thank you. Now, I guess it's all generic, so we can give these to you. Thank you very much. Big hand.
So we're on to item number 6, time to open the meeting for public discussion. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion on that, all in favor of opening the meeting for public discussion, please say aye.
Aye.
The meeting is open for public discussion. Anyone wishing to speak, please come up, state your name and address, 5-minute limit per person. No yielding of time. You may only come up once. And if people are going to file out now, please close the doors behind you and try to keep the murmuring to a murmur so that the people coming up can speak. And I see Assemblyman Danielson is here and ready to speak.
Hope it's a fresh battery. Hope it's a fresh battery. I'm going to be here a while.
You only have 5 minutes, sir.
For Mr. Danielson, 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Vornlocker.
Name and address, sir.
Excuse me?
They're all leaving, is it you?
That's right. Well, I'm providing food in the hallway.
Mr. Danielson, name and address.
Joseph Danielson, 49 Marcy Street, and Joseph Danielson, also 49 Marcy Street. So I join you in pride at seeing our young people achieve such nationally recognized and state recognized achievements. And I only wish I was a member of those teams, but I was not. So the other reason I came here tonight is to express how happy and proud I am to have been joined with you in raising concerns and issues with the compressor station in our southern end of town. Last week I had the opportunity to attend the Middlesex County Freeholders meeting, and it wasn't necessarily an entirely pleasant meeting. There was a filled room, and people were loud and angry and frustrated and excited, and they weren't quite prepped and ready to make a motion or have a resolution and get involved. So I got together with the director and all the freeholders over there, and I'm proud to say that they are all now registered interveners in Middlesex County. I also had the pleasure, and the first time in Somerset County, of attending the Somerset County Freeholders meeting. They were a little bit more prepared because they heard about the Middlesex County meeting. They had the resolution ready. And I also spoke to several of them and asked them to also personally and individually register as interveners. Not necessarily to state a position, but giving them an opportunity to raise concerns and questions. And there are a mountain of concerns and questions that need to be resolved. So again, thank you for being the leader of the pack. And may I also say, both counties, when they say they were going to do it, they said we're going to join Franklin, and then they listed everybody else, and then that they're going to do that. So they recognized that Franklin was a leader and took a position early on, and I'm just proud to be with you. Good night.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Thank you, Assemblyman.
Benjamin Guy, 35 Patton Drive. I just got two basic questions. One is really just, I'll harp on this again, economic development stuff. I just want to update, really goes really to the township manager. Just when we're going to get the report, whether or not the documents that the last presentation from the consultant was actually done, whether or not we can review that, if that's open for people to actually review, and then actually what's the plan of action going forward over the next couple months at all. So that is one question. The other thing is dealing with economic development. The reason why I keep harping on this altogether is that from our top of the line of government altogether is that from the president's office, there's a report that some of the community block grants might go away. So $2.3 billion worth of community block grants might go away over the next couple of years at all. And the reason why I'm making awareness to this is because it deals with some of the stuff that we actually hold dear to us as far as community is concerned, whether or not we give out money to the food bank, Sisters Network, or other programs that are core to what our foundation of programming is. And I'm just trying to make awareness. This is the reason why I stick to the economic development talks is that are we ready for certain things to be taken away from us as a whole? And are we planning for those actions to actually be done? Because the reason why I hold the council sort of accountable for certain things is that if the freeholders or anybody else is not going to start serving us and actually put more money back into town, we need to prepare for the worst. And I'm just making sure that we're aware of that. So that is the reason why I come up here and actually ask those questions, to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable for what might come down the pipeline. So thank you.
Just in response to that, we are laser focused on the community development block grant situation. We obviously have no control of that. And thank you for asking about economic development. When the report is available, the entire community will share with it. Yes, sir, you're next.
Sorry. Avinash Maniam, 20 Rolling Hills Drive. I'd like to address the board today just to express my gratitude to the overall support and community, I guess, support that we've seen over the years. I do understand that Franklin, around the towns around us, doesn't have the best reputation for school systems, and I feel like that's quite unfairly earned, because in my experience in the Maluen team and my overall experience at Franklin High School has been something absolutely beneficial, and I don't think I would have been able to experience that anywhere else. The diversity at Franklin is something that is lacking in a lot of other towns, and it gives me, at least, and I don't know if I can speak for my friends, but they do share many of these viewpoints, it gives me the understanding that I can see people from a different light, whether they be a different race than I am, a different religion, any different socioeconomic status. So I just like to espouse my, I suppose, gratitude to have been brought up in Franklin and to have lived here for the last 18 years of my life, as well as the diversity of the school system. And I think it's great that both athletically with the basketball teams, and historically the track teams are always excellent at Franklin, but also academically wise, you can see with the Franklin Township Youth Council, the Maluen program, the FBLA program, which is one of the largest in the state. We've consistently earned academic awards, athletic accolades, so I feel as if any past reputation of Franklin not necessarily being the best place to raise a child, or a place where if you live there, you would send a child to a private district, is something that is somewhat being changed in this present day. And also, I was interested hearing the reports about the compressor station. As I am 18, I'm leaving for college, I'm going to Rutgers. It may not be something that affects me in the near future. However, I do understand that long-term, the health benefits for my mother, my family, for younger siblings, relationships, or cousins, any family living in the area, the establishment of this compressor station is something that, if it does go wrong, it could cause a severe effect on Franklin Township. So I am very, I suppose, supportive of the movement to bring up these concerns with the compressor station. However, I do want to say that with regards to the compressor station, this would be bringing power to Long Island, if the research I've looked into it has done correctly. So I suppose that at this point, where towns, each individual town is saying, not in my backyard, we want this, not in my backyard, we want this. And the point comes, where does any individual one town bear the burden of having this on themselves? Why are we to provide for the power of Long Island, which is so far distant to us? So I think it's really important that, I'm really glad that the town council has brought it up, that this compressor station may potentially cause danger to Franklin and may not necessarily reap the economic benefits that we may have envisioned when the company has planned it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott Siegel, 2301 Avery Court, Mr. Members of the Council. Talk about one of the members that's here tonight, Gary Rosenthal, who you all know. About a month ago, I was out trying to work on an election, and for the second time in a row for elections, Ms. Rosenthal attempted to interfere with my First Amendment rights. We have a Supreme Court case, 2002, Bible Watchtower versus Stratton, Ohio, where any member of our community of any political persuasion is allowed to knock on their neighbor's doors for charitable, religious, or political reasons. I don't care whether you support me, support whoever against me, you have every right to do this. And it is a crime to interfere with somebody who's trying to just do what the Supreme Court says is allowable. You also believe is still on the Human Relations Committee, still the head of it. Again, why this has not been reformed, I don't know. Again, go over the friends of mine, who you know very well. Councilman Prasad went there with no basis, accusing them of being racist. There's not a racist bone in their bodies. The only reason why my friends knew about it was the Franklin Township Reporter and Advocate reporter called him up and asked him what he thought about the verdict. Otherwise, they would not have known unless someone Googled their name later and found they had told them they were racist when they were not. Again, in America, if you're being accused of something serious like this, you have every right to know about it and have enough time to look at the evidence against you. This did not happen to my friends. You also have the right to cross-examine your accuser. That did not happen to my friends. Also, according to the article, we had Deputy Mayor at the time, Kimberly Francois, and the gentleman who was here at the beginning, Someone Danielson, apparently interfere with this commission. Supposed to be autonomous. They were never been called before this council to explain their actions. I find that to be unethical as well. And this is just wrong. And if we're going to, also, again, when Republicans were in charge of this town, we had an ethics commission. It was bipartisan. This is a hyper-partisan group, apparently. I don't think there's anybody on there that doesn't dissent from them. Also, there's no requirement that the group looks at the information. It's also in the article in the Franklin Reporter. So I think this is wrong, and I think we need to reform this commission. On a separate note, there was an article in NJ.com about a month ago about radon, which is a dangerous gas. And there's low, medium, and high risk levels. Franklin Township is in a high risk area. So if you have a basement in this township, you should get your radon checked to be safe, because it can be deadly. So that's just a public service announcement. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Tibbs.
Johnny Tibbs, 25 Parkside. Just a couple of things. Number one, I want to also continue to congratulate the Franklin girls basketball team. There's a number of them, a couple of them that I know their families and so forth, and I was proud of them. I also want to commend the Model UN team. We have one of those on a committee, like I said before, on the Human Relations Council, and every year when we have junior commissioners, I have insisted, and it has worked out, that we have somebody from you guys, because you guys are the smartest things in the world. Believe me, I know. Johnny Tibbs knows. All right? And we were proud of Julie, and the rest of you guys. Now I put my glasses over there, right? I wanted to commend Mayor Kramer. I know he'd stop, look around now, man. He was talking to somebody.
You got his attention, Johnny.
He hurry up quick.
Got my attention, Johnny.
I know I did, buddy. I wanted to commend Mayor and Council for this year. I'm to understand
that the property taxes was lowered to a degree. Am I correct?
We did not increase the amount that are collecting from the public. So we did not increase the tax levy because of the way assessments went, that businesses went up more than houses do. Most people will see a lower portion of their municipal tax, or their municipal portion of their tax will be lower.
Will be
But
lower,
we
yes, sir.
we did not lower taxes, but taxes are going down for the municipal portion.
We just didn't
for
raise
most
them.
people.
You just didn't raise them.
Right, we're collecting the same amount of money.
Well, that's what I'm commending you for, sir.
Thank
If
you.
you had anything to do with the budget, that's what I'm commending you for.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And once again, Bob Blocker, I know. I'm going to request, this is a request. I'm going to request that water be tested for lead in the Parkside Black Community Complex, in the Pine Grove Community Complex, and any other complexes where there's a concentration of blacks, that water be tested in the township, in the 4th Ward. I'm going to request that. I want to make that an official request from the people in the 4th Ward. I don't know whatever else I have to do to make that a definite request, but we are requesting
As I
that.
told you at the last council meeting, water is tested throughout the township monthly at various locations, including the 4th and 5th Ward.
Yes, sir. And I talked to some of the people in the water department, and they told me that our water only be tested once a year. So therefore, I thought that I should tell you that.
Johnny, you can call my office.
Yes, sir. Well, we are making requests.
I'm
You know,
telling
that's
you,
the only
you can
thing I can
contact
do.
my office and I'll discuss it with you.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the request that we have. And it's very important to the blacks in the 4th Ward, you know.
Safe water is important to every single person in
Yeah,
this
we had a
town, no
problem
matter
in
who they are.
Michigan where they said the same thing, you know. That's why I'm making an official request. Council Lady Francois and any other blacks that's on the council, I'm making an official request for the blacks in the neighborhood in the 4th Ward that the water be tested for lead. If y'all are blacks and you're on the council, I hope you'd adhere to the request. What was the other one? Oh, the police. We love the Franklin Township Police Department. Is the baddest police department in the country. When I say bad, we in the neighborhood mean that's good. That's extremely good. We're proud of the Franklin Township Police Department. And the only reason why we want that Police Community Relations Bureau to be devised and designed is because we want to share our love. The police department wants to share our love with the other people in the community in and around the Hampton Street area. That's the main reason why we're totally requesting a Police Community Relations Bureau. And I hope the people on the council will take head of that and take hold of that and make that a reality. I had one of them. I left my glasses over there. I only had one other love for police department. Oh, and I just want to also understand that a lot of people don't understand the problem with the compressor department. But like I told Linda before, that we all support your decision of not having the compressor, gas compressor in the Kingston area. And we are supportive of that. That's all I had to say. Thank you. One other thing, I'll talk to you about it later. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Ken Reed, 518 Wheeler Place, Somerset, New Jersey. I just wanted to again commend the young ladies. I was fortunate enough, since I'm retired, to make most of their basketball games. So I've heard a lot of discussion about the last game and the last second shot. But throughout their whole season, even games that we may have lost, the professionalism that these young ladies maintained, along with their coaching staff, was phenomenal. And the way they represented Franklin was just unbelievable. And so I don't want that to go without being said. Their whole season, they represented our community as we would want to. In fact, I was very proud to wear my Franklin shirts and pop my chest and be really proud. And so I just wanted to again commend them for what they've done and how they represented us. On the economic development side, I just got one question. I just want to make one statement, please. Please, 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 no more 7-Elevens. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? I notice we have a troop of Boy Scouts here working on a merit badge.
Troop
Very good.
113, Mayor.
113, anyone want to come up and speak from there? Explain what you're doing, why you're here? Look at that, there you go, there's a leader. You do not have to state your address. Please don't state your address, just your name.
Frank Thomas, Troop 113, Star Scout. As you can see, I'm in the absence of uniform tonight. I kind of got dirty over the weekend. We were in D.C. on an expedition. Tonight, we are working on our communications merit badge for so that we can rank up and go towards Eagle. We've been working on this for the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We meet at Somerset Presbyterian Church over on JFK. We're a semi-large troop, 30, 40 kids. We all love it, you know. We all participate on campouts. On our expedition, we had about 16 kids. We do get a fair number of kids.
You couldn't hear what the merit badge counselor said. They're always looking for a few more good men.
Thank you.
That's great. One of the prideful things I get to do as mayor is I'm fortunate enough to be invited to the Eagle Courts when someone gets promoted to Eagle Scout, and it's quite a moving experience. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Mayor, seeing no one else come forward, I motion that we close the public portion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of closing public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Well, the ayes have it. Public discussion is closed. We are now on to council comments, reports. Mr. Prasad, let's start with you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Of course, again, congratulations to our girls, Franklin High School girls champions, and the Model UN. And Scout 113, my son used to be part of you, and Frank Giannato Sr. used to be one of the Scout Masters, and so the whole Bob Piagentini and that whole thing. I'm talking now 78. That was their troop. And, out at Stokes, they had the scout camp 1 week away and all that. So brings back a lot of memories. So fantastic. Thank you. So I've been a parent and, of course, thank all the volunteers and the parents who make it all happen. So thank you. And now, May 4th, Thursday at noon, we're going to have our National Day of Prayer here in the Veterans Memorial Park. Please turn out for it and get everybody there. Prayer is something that we can all use for our country and our leaders. So it's a great event. And we're also going to recognize the 60 houses of worship for their efforts and their service to the community. And in recognition of them, we're going to do an honorary naming of Cedar Grove Lane as Interfaith Lane. And that'll happen at 7 p.m. at Pierce and Cedar Grove, and our manager is actually orchestrating that whole event. If you want to add to it, please let us know, Mr. Manager.
So I have one councilwoman asking me when it is. It's May 4th, when we're going to do it.
Right, Thursday evening, 7 o'clock.
Thursday evening, 7 PM, intersection of Cedar Grove Lane and New Brunswick Road, for the unveiling of the
Oh,
honorary
at New
sign.
Brunswick Road, not,
New Brunswick, right, so it gives adequate parking in the shopping
okay,
center.
okay, all right.
So that's where we'll be.
Okay, fantastic. So, we'll have people from the county as well there and our township leadership, so, so with that, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Councilwoman Chanel Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I seen that all the proclamations and commendations tonight seem to be paying homage to all of our youth. So congratulations to all the groups that were honored this afternoon. It just does my heart good that our youth are still going strong and that they're engaged and active. And we need that to make sure we shore up our bench and doing what we need to do to make sure that we're thriving and Franklin moves forward. With that said, continuing with youth as a theme, don't forget to support the Franklin Middle School musical, Honk. Opening night is this Friday, the 28th and the 29th at 7 p.m. And then next weekend, the 5th of May and the 6th of May, 7 p.m., with the closing of Sunday, May 7th at 2 p.m. I'll be giving a report for the Housing Authority. As we all know, we're coming to the end of the month of April, hoping that we don't have a government shutdown. As of the meeting on April 12th for Housing Authority, there has been no budget presented or approved for Housing Authority, so we are on a month-to-month budget. But if there comes a time where there's a government shutdown, we may at some point run out of money to continue, but that remains to be seen. One other thing I want to comment on is the passing of a bill from legislation. It's called 83534, and the purpose of this bill is to permit authorities and local units operating water supply or sewage facilities to waive, reduce, or defer sewage and water service fees for deployed military personnel. And if anyone is interested in this legislation or any other, you can go to legiscan.com and register and get alerts on any legislative bill that going forward. At this time, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing else to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works Committee met this afternoon. We discussed plantings on Ridings Parkway, which is one of the two streets in the town which have a planted median, which can require a lot of maintenance by the town. So we're talking about putting in some low maintenance vegetation, probably low junipers there. We reached agreement on what streets are to be paved under this year's street paving appropriation, which totals $2.5 million, and we hope to get a regular state grant in support of that, typically on the order of $250,000. I have the entire list here, but it would take too long to read it. And the manager informed us that new air handlers were put in place on the roof of the police building. So now the air conditioning in all of the buildings in the municipal complex has been updated and made more efficient. And of course, I commend the girls' basketball team for their accomplishments and the FHS Model UN team commendation. The one thing I don't know is finished second among how many teams. If there were 2,000 people there, it must probably at least 200 teams. So that's really quite an accomplishment. And again, as several people have said, it should be some proof to all the real estate agents and so forth that sometimes play down our high school, that our high school has some real accomplishments. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Vasanella.
Thank you, Mayor. Was at the Public Works meeting Councilman Chase referred to, and hopefully our street repaving, you'll see us out there soon as we finish up the 2016 roads, and as soon as we council approves the recommendations Councilman Chase talked of, we will of course get aggressive with our 2017. Quick note, 113, 50 years I heard you celebrated. I was thinking as you were talking, there may be another troop, but when I was in the Scouts for most of the 1970s, you were our rival troop. I know one of the largest. I don't know if you were the only other troop in town, but back then our troop no longer exists. So you guys are come a long way. You have quite the legacy, and I was privileged a few years ago to attend a couple of your Eagle celebrations, Court of Honors, and I know you've put out quite a few Eagle Scouts over the years, and not sure, but you may be, as much as you were our rivals, acknowledge you as the longest standing, or one of the longest standing troops, so good luck, and keep racking up those requirements on your path to Eagle. The mayor and I had the honor of partaking in, as an invited guest to the Little League opening day. I see the mayor swinging his gavel bat there. In all seriousness, it was a wonderful event. The large parade they have every year was rained out the week before, or let's just say the residual wetness of the fields made it impossible. So we had a scaled back celebration this past Saturday, and on behalf of the Little League, they extended their thank you to all of council for the bathroom project, which is right now getting ready to be done. If they're working out the exact schedule and details, but they want to thank the council for supporting them in that manner. I think everything was addressed with the economic development, and just to be clear, because I hear it come up most weeks we're here, that report I think is scheduled to come out in the fall or late summer, and at that point it would.
Actually, it should be out probably end of May.
Oh, okay, early summer, great.
I'm looking at maybe so we had a conversation, it should be in a couple weeks. We'll get a final draft for review by staff, and then we should be able to present it to council. I'm hoping last week of May, first week of June, in that general vicinity.
Wonderful, and although I'm not on the redevelopment ad hoc or subcommittee, I am, of course, very involved in Hamilton, and I think the whole town looks forward to that report. But it will be out there, as the mayor stated earlier, so just give us time to finish it, and there'll be plenty of conversations to be had concerning that. Thank you very much, Mayor. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
I have to agree with the councilwoman, Chanel Robinson, about the theme of tonight's meeting on the youth. It was very inspiring. As a founder and leader of the Franklin Youth Initiative, I get a lot of pleasure in working with youth and being around youth, because young people keep you young, and I want to stay young forever. And I want to say, that's a joke. That's a joke. Laugh. You can laugh.
You are young, Councilwoman.
But I do want to commend the Boy Scouts that are here, and our Tournament of Champions, the Franklin High School girls varsity basketball team. I don't have opportunity to go to sports games because of my schedule, but I heard so much about it, and it sounded like it was a fabulous thing, and they represented us very, very well. They put Franklin Township on the map, and we're also very, very proud. Also, I'd like to commend the Model UN team and our Franklin Township Municipal Alliance. I know Councilwoman Sherman and I sit on that, the Youth Services Commission, and also our Franklin Youth Initiative. I also like to thank Councilwoman Sherman for the donation that she gave to both programs. I always say we cannot do enough for our youth, and we never can have enough money to run the programs and services that we need here in Franklin. I also want to just, since we're talking about the theme of youth, I want to point out on today's consent agenda resolution, there are two resolutions that I want to speak to, so when we go to vote on them, I won't bring that back up. One is resolution number 13. It's a resolution to extend, 13H. It's a resolution to extend contracts for recreation programs, not to exceed $60,000. So we do have some programs for specific camps and workshops and clinics and instructional classes that are provided through a variety of recreational, educational, and athletic program providers. So when we award that contract and extend those contracts for those programs, that's what that's all about, in the spirit of our youth here in Franklin Township. And there's another resolution, because that seems to be the theme for tonight's meeting, and that's resolution number J, 1750, where we will be on tonight's agenda, where we will be awarding a fair and open professional services contract to Kimmel Procret Architecture for a youth center feasibility study. I know it's been long awaited. My phone is ringing.
We're applauding for you, Councilwoman.
Somebody's phone is ringing. Oh, it's my phone that's ringing.
You're
cheering on your.
Your
Okay.
phone is so happy about that contract, it
Yes,
sung
it
out.
started ringing. Even though I have it on Do Not Disturb, only a few people can get through. So the Youth Center feasibility study, we plan on having, after we award the contract, we did a lot of due diligence on, we received 8 bids, and we did a lot of, I would say, the Director of Recreation, Alice Sipowicz, Bruce Medley, who is the Franklin Youth Initiative Coordinator, our manager, Bob Vonlocker, and Councilwoman Rosalind Sherman and myself, we vetted the 8 proposals, and we looked at them for a lot of different criteria to rank them on technical expertise and experience and providing similar work that we need to have in our youth center feasibility study. And so we made that award, and the whole intent of having this youth feasibility study is we're looking to have several town hall meetings, have them help, as the consultant, help us conduct several town hall meetings to get input from the residents. We will also have a township steering committee that will be appointed with the consultant throughout the process to guide us and lead us through the feasibility study. We'll have some public workshops. We'll have stakeholder meetings. We have planned to do some planning and zoning review and meet representatives with township planning and zoning to look at our guidelines and restrictions for the development of that site. We also are going to do a demographic review and assessment to make sure that we understand what the needs are for the community. And they will also help us draft a design of the facility regarding what kinds of programs will be in that youth center. So there will be a conceptual plan at the end of the whole design phase, the program development phase, and the public will be engaged, and we will get a lot of public input, and this will be a collaborative process. It will not be done in a vacuum. It'll be open and transparent, and we're looking to design a youth center based on the help with this consultant that will meet all the needs of all the people, all the youth in Franklin Township. So I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. And stay tuned because there will be a lot more to come. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Onijaka.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm privileged to announce that the Sierra Leonean community of Franklin Township, they will have their flag raising, part of their 56th independence, which is coming on this weekend, on 29th of April. So it's going to be a fun place. So everybody is invited to attend this weekend. And also, on the 20th of May, the West African community, in conjunction with the Africans in Franklin, will have a parade, African parade, which is coming up on the 20th of May. It's going to be a large event. We're expecting to have up to 5,000 individuals in that occasion. And the parade will start from St. Peter and Paul all the way to Route 27. The time will be from 10 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the evening. Because everybody is invited to this occasion, both occasions. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I want to just add my voice to the fact that our youth have certainly done Franklin Township proud, and we've certainly all expressed our pride in what they have accomplished, and it's very gratifying to see what they've done, and I'm sure they'll keep going at it. So I had three things I wanted to talk about. One of them seems to have been quickly resolved. Fortunately, I happened to mention it to the township manager. One had to do with the senior advisory committee that I sit on. There has been a growing need for additional senior parking spaces, handicapped parking spaces. Many people have been unable to traverse the distance now from the parking lot since the side door of the senior center has been locked for safety reasons. We just can't leave that door open with the chance of people, unauthorized people walking in there, and who knows for what purpose. So that door is now locked. Several of them are having difficulty walking the distance to the front door. And there were weeks of discussion, or several, we don't meet weekly, but several months worth of monthly meeting discussions on how to present this and what to do and how to figure it out. And here in 3.5 seconds, the township manager has the entire issue very elegantly resolved. It appears that the employee parking, which is along the side of the senior center, is now going to become handicap parking. And the employees are going to park in the parking lot and just hoof it a little bit, but they're in certainly better shape to do that than a lot of these seniors. So it saved a bundle of money, and it can be done quickly, and it was like, why didn't we think of that? So thank you very much for coming up with that very elegant That's right. It's a great solution. Thank you very much.
Always trying to save money, Councilwoman.
Well,
Always
it's
trying
not
to save
just
money.
saving money.
And make it
It's
easier for the
smart.
seniors who go to the
It was
building.
smart. It was very good. Thank you. I'm sure they'll be thrilled when they hear what you have suggested. Two other things I wanted to talk about. Yesterday, I attended an event at Zufel Health that used to be called the Resource Center. And Zufel Health is much larger than the Resource Center was, and it has multiple locations. They sort of bought them out. And they are a wonderful organization. Their facility is in Somerville. It's open to all residents of Somerset County and even outside of the county. They have physicians that will help you even if you don't have the finances to pay, they will help you. They're trying to get a dental clinic going there also, but it's basically on a sliding scale. If you can't afford it, they will still help you. The purpose of yesterday's event was, this happens to be, April is a sexual assault awareness month, and they have a marvelous support program for anyone who has been a victim of a sexual assault. They actually came and talked to the Municipal Alliance group about their services, and I was very pleased to be there and see their facilities and what they offer. They have a hotline. If anyone has any need for it, I will mention it. It's 908-526-7444. And they will offer counseling. They will go to the hospital with the victim. They will take care of whoever calls with such a situation. But that is just one of the many things that Zufel Health does for our community. So I strongly urge people who are in financial straits and can't afford doctors to look them up and visit them. They are certainly doing a wonderful job and deserve our support. The last thing I wanted to mention is April 24th was Yom HaShoah, which is the Day of Remembrance. And that is something I just want to spend a little time discussing because it's something that we should none of us ever forget. And in the world that we're living in today, it certainly has implications for what's happening. But that situation in Germany was a state-sponsored systematic persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by the Nazi Germany. Between 1933 and 1945, 6 million Jews, along with gypsies, people of mental and physical disabilities, and Polish people, were targeted for destruction for racial, ethnic, and national reasons. Millions more, including homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, Soviet prisoners, and political dissidents, were also killed and suppressed. The Day of Remembrance is meant to memorialize the millions of victims of persecution and mass murder, and to show respect for the victims and survivors, and to recognize the scope and scale of the Holocaust, so that we none of us ever forget. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one thing to say, and I said it when I was down at the podium when I introduced the Franklin House High School girls varsity basketball team. And I said that everyone has to work together to make things work. And I just want to make sure that you understand there is no I in team. Everyone has to work. It might be a couple pieces in there, but collectively they all have to come together to make things work. So I'd like to thank the Franklin High School girls varsity basketball team, the Franklin Township Youth Council, the National Alcohol Awareness Month, and the 2017 Franklin High School Model UN team. All the parts that you need to make a team. They were not individuals, and they come home as champions. So I would like everyone out there to realize that and to think about that. We up here as a council, there's 9 of us. There is no I up here. It's only a team. So when you go to work, when you come to play, especially at the high school, where everyone's in the classroom, we're all trying to get a grade, and we're all trying to learn something. You might think we're individuals, but it's a team in that classroom. It's a team. And that, Mr. Mayor, is all I have for you. Oh, we have a land use meeting tomorrow.
We do.
And I think it will be enlightening. Our township manager will mail everything out, and we'll have fun. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Ward, Deputy Mayor Wright. So I will chime in also about our youth and how we celebrate them. There are times people question us about if we are supporting them. I think we showed how spectacular our youth are in town and how much the town cares about them. The other thing I'll seize upon is probably a small comment from Mr. Reed about the 7-Elevens, and I took note of it because I recently heard a comment about someone complaining that we have too many Wawas in town. I just want people to understand the town does control zoning, and we can say certain kinds of things can go in certain places. But this is America. And if you own a piece of land and it's zoned for a 7-Eleven, as well as a doctor's office or a retail store of any kind. If you want to build a 7-Eleven, even though there's one right next door and one on the other side too, and one across the street, you can do it, and we can't stop you. Now, our planning officer and our zoning officer often sit down with these people and explain to them why this might not be wise, but there's a section of town near Councilwoman Sherman where there are 3 drugstores within feet of each other, maybe yards of each other. But, so, we do try to steer them, but we can't tell them what they can and cannot do. So that's it for my comments. Now, Township Manager, you should be a little bit suspect. I know you grew up with the clerk, but.
I did.
But I hope there's no childhood rivalry there, because she left the Township Manager's portion off of the agenda. But I remembered it. I'm there for you, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Ms. McCarthy. And actually, usually I have only like 1 or 2 things. I now tonight have several things to discuss, based some.
So moving on to item number 9.
In part due to comments made during the public portion. So I'm just going to go down my list of things. First, as much as I always like to address questions directed to me from the public to the person who asked them, Mr. Guy has left the scene, and I can't address him directly. However, our economic development report, as I mentioned earlier, should be completed sometime at the end of May, beginning of June. In addition to the report, one of the other aspects of our economic development initiative was to name an economic development director for the township. We have done that. I'm very proud to say that Vincent Dominack, who actually is an employee of the town, he was currently the senior zoning official and now is the economic development director for the township. Vince brings to the township a great deal of economic development experience. He was in that similar position in Newton up in Sussex County, as well as for Northampton County in Pennsylvania, which for those of you who don't know where Northampton County is, it is where Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania was the home of Bethlehem Steel for many, many years, and Vince was involved in a great deal in the development stages of the redevelopment area, the south side of Bethlehem City and Northampton County. So, and Vince has been here and worked a great deal with our commercial partners here in Franklin Township, and I look forward to a great deal of work being done by our new economic development director. So that's Mr. Guy's question. Mr. Tibbs' question about water. Mr. Tibbs, what I would suggest that anyone, anywhere in the town, regardless of ward, if there is some concern about lead and or copper, which is another heavy metal that's of concern in drinking water throughout the country. If you have a concern, the township takes part in a voluntary program in conjunction with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in the testing of water for both lead and copper. There is a brief online survey that you can do on the township's website, on the township Public Works page. The Public Works Department will come out and pick up a 1-liter bottle of water from your house and have it tested for lead and copper if you have a concern. By all means, you can encourage all of your neighbors to do that if you wish. All you need to do is just go on and fill out the little survey, and the Public Works Department will be in contact with you about submitting a sample. So that's the answer for lead and copper. As far as the streets being paved in the 2017 budget, as Councilman Chase mentioned earlier, I'll instruct the engineering department to post the list of streets that are proposed to be paved so that Councilman Chase doesn't have to read them all at the council meeting. So if you go to the website on the engineering page, in the next couple of days, you should see that list of streets that are proposed to be paved listed there. And last but not least, it sounds like this Saturday is going to be a busy day. Let me put my glasses on here. In honor of National Arbor Day, the Franklin Township Shade Tree Commission, in collaboration with the Meadows Foundation and local Boy and Girl Scout troops in Franklin Township, will host an Arbor Day event Saturday, April 29th. The public event will be held from 10 a.m. until noon at the Hageman Farm at 209 South Middlebush Road, just a short trip down on the right-hand side from here at the Municipal Building on South Middlebush. And just as a little added bonus for that, the Shade Tree Commission is celebrating the importance of trees this month with a ceremonial tree planting in honor of Arbor Day and by giving away 500 tree seedlings. The seedling distribution is part of the New Jersey Tree Recovery Campaign to help regreen communities hit by Superstorm Sandy. At the April 29th event, local scouts will help plant 4 species of trees at the Hageman Farm, as well as to hand out the free tree seedlings to township residents. The seedlings are bare root and range in size from 6 to 24 inches in height, depending on the species. The seedlings are free and will be distributed in bundles of 5 on a first-come, first-served basis. The reason I take such great pride in that is the one responsibility as far as appointments that the township manager has by statute, and that I get to appoint the Shade Tree Commission. So please go out and support the Shade Tree Commission and get your free saplings and plant them. We lost many, many, many hundreds of trees in this town as a result of Superstorm Sandy, and go get some saplings and plant some in your yard and replace them. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes, I'm sorry if I may. I forgot something really important.
What?
I had the great honor today of welcoming the township clerks the conference that is being held here in Franklin Township, and a great deal of that happening. The person who made that happen is our own master clerk, Anne Marie McCarthy. So thank you for recommending Franklin Township to be the location of that conference, and for asking me, in the absence of our mayor, to offer the welcoming address. It was delightful to be there and to have such an important group in our midst. Thank you so much for making that happen. I also want to mention that the 29th is the climate march in Washington. I'll be going, and if anyone else is interested, please let me know, or email me, or call me. And we leave at 6 in the morning from the offices of the League of Conservation Voter. I thought the word voters was at the end. I stopped myself before I said it. Yes, anyway, so it's on Hamilton Street. So hopefully you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sherman. And while I was unable to attend the clerks' conference, I will be there to help plant the tree on Arbor Day. We are now on to approval of the minutes of the Township Council Work Session, regular meeting, March 28th at 2017 at 7 p.m. are hereby presented for approval by the Township Council. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or corrections? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
It is now time to pay the bills with approval of the warrants. Warrants in the amount of $8,944,340.46 on April 25th are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do I have a motion?
Motion for payment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussions, questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
Yes.
We are now on to the public hearings and adoption of ordinances on second reading, as is the statute. We have a first reading where we introduce an ordinance to the public, and then 2 weeks later or more, we have a second reading where the public is allowed to speak, and then we have the opportunity to pass the ordinance or not. So the first ordinance is 4197-17, and Councilwoman Kimberly Francois, this is related to the redevelopment agency, and I thought you might want the honor of presenting this.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 419717, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Land Development, so as to change the designation of certain properties from CMMU which means Churchill Millstone Mixed Use, to CMR, which stands for Churchill Millstone Residential. So our designated redeveloper, RPM, requested a rezoning of a very small area within the redevelopment area. It's about 6,000 square feet. And this is necessary just to continue the development of the area, which happens to be residential. This was vetted through land use and also the redevelopment agency, and we discussed the proposed zoning district boundary adjustments, and neither committees had any objection. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A public hearing has been noticed and is required and is in order. So do I have a motion to open the meeting for a public hearing?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion on that, all in favor of opening public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Point out to the public, the only one here is the press.
Mayor, seeing no one come forward from the public, a motion to close the public portion of the
Seconded.
hearing.
Moved and seconded. Seeing all in favor of closing public discussions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public discussion is closed. Do we have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
We are now on to ordinance 4198-17, and this has to do with historic homes, which is near and dear to Councilman Chase's heart. Councilman Chase, would you please read the ordinance? Title?
Ordinance 4198-17, an ordinance amending leases with the Meadows Foundation Incorporated by amending expiration dates to December 31, 2050 for the Hageman Farm, Van Lew Sudam House, Wyckoff Garrettson House, and the Van Wickle House. And this will enable them to receive grants for work on these houses, since they will have a really long-term lease. Our current length of lease was not sufficient for them to get grants.
The public hearing has been noticed and is required and is in order. Do I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on opening to the public? Seeing none, all in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are open to the public on this item only.
Mayor, seeing no one coming forward from the public, a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion on closing the public discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Do I have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the item? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
Ordinances on introduction and first reading. We have ordinance 4199-17, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Development, Article 23, Site Plan Review, Section 112-185C, subsection 4B, amending the composition of the Technical Review Committee. The Township Council, the foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with the law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, May 9th, 2017 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
And a
Second.
Moved and seconded. So what this is about is an ordinance suggesting something called the Technical Review Committee. People can watch the zoning board and planning boards, more particularly the planning board, when there are big items coming up, but sometimes the items are relatively small and technical, and they only require an administrative review. They don't require a review, full review before the planning board, and this is changing who should be on that committee. Any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Mayor Kramer,
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka,
Yes.
Councilman Prasad,
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright.
We are now on to ordinance 4200-17, an ordinance to amend the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 207 graffiti, Section 207-4, responds to order to remove graffiti from property owner and 2007-6, failure to comply with the order to remove the graffiti. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing, and a final adoption on Tuesday, May 9th, 2017, at 7 p.m. at the municipal complex. So this essentially changes the ordinance from, if there's graffiti on an owner's property, instead of having 90 days to correct the graffiti, they have 30 days to correct. This, I understand, was forwarded to us by the Hamilton Street Advisory Commission. I'm sorry, did we already moved and seconded it?
No.
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
Motion to introduce.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
What? Okay.
A question, although not about the change, the provision for 120 days for the Department of Transportation. I'm surprised that we can do anything at all to the Department of Transportation. What would we do if they didn't remove a graffiti within, and graffiti, by the way, is plural, the graffito is the singular. If the Department of Transportation did not remove a graffito within 120 days, what could we do to them?
We would ask nicely again. You're right. I don't know that there's any teeth to this ordinance. Generally speaking, in the hierarchy of government, the state certainly would supersede us in the enforcement of this. I don't know how we would enforce it. My guess, though, is that it probably came from some other state statute where the state would be required to remove it under their own statutes. So that's the only thing I could imagine here. I read that and was somewhat surprised by it as well.
Could our, excuse,
And that goes for the, excuse me, and that goes for the portion of it that would allow us to go in and remove it, because I'm not certain
Right.
that we'd be permitted to do that.
That might be why it was included. There's another portion of the ordinance that gives us the right to go in and remove it and then assess a lien on a piece of property. Obviously, we can place a lien on a state property. It is not unheard of.
so,
Well, Councilman
Mayor?
Vasanella,
so I
That
just,
was along the lines of my question, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
my question was answered.
yes.
so I just want
Go ahead.
some clarity. I support Hamilton's desire to be more conscious of the district and the appearance and the enforcement. But, Mr. Raynone, then, is this, in your opinion, practical to do, or did you want more time to review whether or not we would have a footing? Because, first of all, like I said, I support it, but if we're not going to enforce it, we need the staffing, and obviously we need the legal footing. So could you comment on?
We're talking about two different things. The comment that was made was really with regards to notices to the New Jersey Department of Transportation. The ordinance in front of you does not amend that portion of it. That portion of it is in the law. It requires 120 days notice. This is reducing from 90 to 30 days notice for private property owners. That's absolutely enforceable. These are pretty standard ordinances. 30 days is not an unusual provision.
So that's commercial and residential?
Correct. Anything other than the state, correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
So the concern I have, if I'm a property owner, somebody puts graffiti on my house, I have 30 days to get it off. If they come back and put graffiti on my house, I have 30 days to get it off. So what's the penalty to me if for some reason I can't afford to keep painting and taking off graffiti? What's the township, what's the enforcement there?
And my belief is it's the standard penalty, which would be that is for all ordinance violations, which I believe starts at $50 and
does.
goes from there, or $100? I'm trying to remember off the
Well,
top
I
of
don't
my
know.
head. Been a while.
I don't know that there's a specific minimum, because not sure if there's one.
I think ours does have.
There is no specific minimum for this?
There's no maximum, there's a minimum.
Well, there's a maximum. The maximum is
$2,000. That's the
$2,000.
that's by statute, right? But the ordinance itself, I think, is the standard ordinance violation for this, the township, which I'm looking up right now. I believe it's under general provisions.
Is the standard penalty in a Faulkner Act community, which is $2,000 or 90 days in jail?
Maximum.
Maximum, correct.
So is that implementing undue hardship for me?
Well, this ordinance exists. So
It's
here, right.
It is currently. So the answer is that there is
120 days, right? Not 30 days.
No. Right now it's 90.
90 days.
Yeah, 90 days.
So now we're reducing it to 30 days.
Correct.
Right, the issue is that when we ask a resident or a business owner, we issue them a notice when there's graffiti on their building, we're giving them 3 months to have it removed. And it was just felt that was excessive. As far as the enforcement of the ordinance, there's two parts to this. There's the enforcement of the ordinance on the property owner, and this is part of property maintenance, and I agree that it seems to be sometimes unfair that someone who owns a piece of property that someone else damages by painting graffiti on it, that we hold that property owner responsible, but there is no one else to hold responsible. We hold property owners responsible for the maintenance of their property. All of our ordinances do that. In this particular case, most of our property ordinances give 10 days to abate. This gave 90. I think that it was a good compromise to back it to 30. The other part of graffiti is the law enforcement aspect of it. And that's a responsibility of the chief of police and the police department to enforce that aspect of this, which is the criminal mischief statutes in the state of New Jersey, to arrest people who do this. Thankfully, and I say this, and I almost have to knock on a little wood, we don't have a tremendous problem with graffiti here. This seems to be an isolated problem in specific areas of the town, and this is a way to clean it up. And when you leave graffiti on buildings for long periods of time, it tends to bring more. It's one of those things that it kind of breeds it. So this is the effort. And I don't think it's unreasonable that we place a 30-day time frame on a property owner to abate what is deemed a violation. And so I agree with the Hamilton Street Advisory Board in their recommendation. But it's a minimum $100 fine and a maximum $2,000 fine, which is the standard municipal penalty in our code.
I guess I missed that meeting. I must have missed that Hamilton Street meeting.
Mr. Chase?
Well, I was just wondering, this ordinance as written makes no mention of any fine, only the township can go in and clean up the graffiti and send the property owner the bill, which is in a way a fine, but I don't see any mention of a fine for failure to comply.
Well, we have a general penalty provision for failure to comply with an ordinance.
Right.
There's a general provision that says if there's no penalty otherwise stated for a violation of any ordinance of this code, the penalty shall be.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So, can we not spell out the penalty clause or the penalties that could be assessed in the ordinance? Councilwoman Francois here.
You have to have a penalty, otherwise you don't have an ordinance.
Right. No, but other than the part well, that's just a failure to remove. Other than them being assessed that the town had to go in and do it, are they spelt out, the penalty specifically for this? As a deterrent, I'm saying, if we're going trying to amend this ordinance, should we not have something in here that spells out the fines and that they get more with multiple offenses, et cetera? And I do feel for Councilwoman Francois's point, but the graffiti that I've seen here and there, and it is, as a manager referred to, isolated instances, but it seems to be more along commercial properties or perhaps residences that are vacant, rentals that are vacant, et cetera. Even some township but why don't we streamline this exactly how we believe it should be for the deterrent, the goal of deterrent and enforcement, which is what I believe Hamilton Street is looking to change.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
No, just to play the devil's advocate, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Should a bunch of gangs decide to do their signing of graffiti on my house, and I am diligent and I'm doing every 30 days, painting it over, but it comes a time you get tired of that. And in that case, there should be some relief from the township on such an effort. So,
In the 4 years that I've been township manager, we have enforced this ordinance twice. Both of them were on buildings that were not occupied. One was a house in foreclosure, and we brought this ordinance violation to the bank who held the house in foreclosure, and the other was in a privately held piece of property where only an outbuilding was on that property, and it was tagged actually, and it was gang graffiti. This ordinance calls for the abatement of the graffiti. If the graffiti is not done in now 90 days, to leave it there for 90 days when it comes to the attention of the township is an excessive period of time, in my opinion. Right now, after 90 days, if it's still there, we have the right to go onto the property and remove the graffiti and send a bill to the property owner, which is what we do for basically every property maintenance violation in the code. Okay. I don't know that this is any different than high grass. If you don't cut your grass and it exceeds an approved length, which is 10 inches, and we have to send a contractor in to cut your grass, we place a lien on your property. That's basically what this ordinance does. It really doesn't do anything else. It just gives them 30 days as opposed to 90 days, where every other violation in our code, you get 10. I don't know that it's any more complicated than that.
Right. No, my point was maybe we should get some help from the gang task force of the police or whatever.
Like I said, it's happened twice in 4.5 years. I don't know that we need any additional assistance in enforcement of the criminal mischief statutes in the state. I think that it's just something that when it happens occasionally, we need to ensure that the property owner maintains their property and removes it in a timely fashion. That's all this ordinance really addresses.
Okay, so I will weigh in. As far as the issue of whether this is, how many times it's happened in the last 4 years, I don't really think that's important. Laws are read and written, well, laws are read as they are written. So we can't predict the future, but if this law comes into question, it will be read as it was written, and our discussion does not enter into how it will be interpreted. So things may change in the future, so that isn't quite that important to me. The difference between high grass and graffiti is, well, high grass, I guess you're a victim of nature, but when you allowed grass to grow, you knew that was going to happen. Graffiti, and I'm agreeing essentially here with Councilwoman Francois and Councilman Prasad, we have someone who is already a victim. And now I feel the town is going to victimize them. Now, I understand this was already 90 days. You know, I have to admit, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of every ordinance we have, though I did try to read through all of them once. My feeling here is I'm okay with this, but I feel there should be, after 2 times, I'm just saying, for instance, and we may want to tailor this a little bit more, that the town cannot fine the person or charge them for our remediation of it more than 2 times without us providing evidence that we have gone to a certain extent, put out a certain amount of effort to try to mediate the problem. Now, and the township manager is well aware of a particular house on Home Street that was hit with graffiti, or garage on Home Street that was hit with graffiti over and over again. And that poor owner I don't think they were ever fined. They constantly kept trying to fix that, and I think eventually they kind of gave up on it. So I would like to make the township a partner in this. Yes, if there's a single act of graffiti, perhaps 30 days is the right amount, that's fine. A second act, okay, correct it again. But after that, I think if there's a repeated crime, I believe we share some of the responsibility in trying to mitigate that. I would like to see this ordinance changed to reflect that, and I would ask if other council members agree that our attorney adds his wizardry to it to try to reflect what I just put forward. Councilman Chase.
Mr. Mayor, let me give you an example of something. It's not graffiti, but similarly criminal mischief. A couple of years ago, a number of mailboxes along Old Georgetown Road were damaged, in some cases knocked off their posts by someone throwing cinder blocks at them. And after there'd been several complaints, and for instance, my own was damaged twice in this way. After several complaints of this had reached the township manager, in fact, our police force staked out the road and did, in fact, arrest the perpetrators. So, I mean, to me, it goes without saying that if there were that kind of repeated graffito painting on a particular building, that I would expect that our police force would attempt to prevent any, and in fact arrest the perpetrators of any further graffito painting on the building. And I don't really think that it's necessary to put any specific language to that nature into this ordinance.
And how do we ensure that the person, I mean, otherwise the person can continue to be fined, and he has no remedy to the town fixing it, or helping him fix it, or helping him prevent it.
Mayor,
Councilman.
are you proposing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the commercial properties or rented residences, in other words, where the homeowner actually owning it and living there is not subject to the possible concerns you and Councilwoman Francois and others of us might share, but are we legally allowed to, and should we look at making the laws and the enforcement different for properties that are owner-occupied residences versus non?
No,
because at some point, well, would like your response, but at some point, anybody who's buying investment properties or commercial properties should take measure. They know it's a business, and they should take measures to keep it safe and aesthetically how people would desire, the town and the neighborhoods desire. So to me, there's a very specific difference. I don't know if we legally are allowed to have different rules as we do for property maintenance, other aspects of property maintenance for businesses versus residences, or for rental properties versus.
So, Councilman Wright, one brief second. No, I don't believe I've stated anything about a difference between rental property, commercial property, or residential property. Councilman Wright.
Mr. Mayor, so that we don't beat this to death, I think we should pull this ordinance to make it better. One part I had is no matter how much the ordinance has been, I'm about to read something there. I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna get caught with that one. Mr. Mayor, I make a suggestion we pull this ordinance.
So I
and-
take
and
that as a motion to table.
I make
I'm
a motion to
obligated
table.
to ask for if there is a second to table. So moved and seconded. The only discussion on a motion to table is to when to table. Is it all right to table this, Councilman Wright, until the township attorney has had time to investigate how he might change it to better suit? Would that be a reasonable time to table, or do you want a specific time?
Mayor,
Do you
go
want it
for
back in a month?
Go for it. A month sounds good.
So hopefully in a month, the motion is that in a month, the township attorney can try to tailor this, should this motion to table pass. Motion to table requires a simple majority. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
No.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Odi Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad? Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
No.
Councilman Vasanella?
Just want to make sure, Mayor, this is going to be reviewed by the attorney, but no other committees will be reviewing it?
That was the
I want
motion.
to understand it.
That was the motion.
Yes. Did you finish?
No.
Wait, I'm waiting for
I'm waiting
Council.
for Councilman
Well, I-
Vasanella, yeah.
I wouldn't mind tabling it, but I don't understand what direction we've given the attorney.
We've told him to come back, and he's heard the discussion, he's told us to come back in a month with another stab at it. He can talk to council members in that time to try to find further delineation. So we're in the
Okay.
middle of a vote.
One pause, I'll agree, yes, to
Yes.
1 month.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
Yes.
So we have six. So motion to table has passed. We just got you some homework.
There you go.
And we are on now to item number, or C, ordinance 4201-17. The ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, and State of New Jersey authorizing acceptance of water line easement in connection with Canal Walk Associates Limited, Block 513.47 lots, 1.02, 24, and 25 Canal Walk 3. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, May 9th, 2017, at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the item? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Odi Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
We are now on to the consent agenda. Items A through U, as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, or anyone wish to pull an item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Odi Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
Is this an error that we have an executive session?
No.
No.
Old business.
I know we have old business, I was looking beyond that. So, old business, any nominations for boards and committees?
Yes, I'd like to make a nomination, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am?
I'd like to nominate Councilman Ted Chase for the Planning Board Member, Municipal Wastewater Management Committee.
Okay, any other nominations for that committee? Hearing none, we can vote by acclamation. All in favor of Councilman Chase for that committee, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Councilman Chase. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing no nominations, we are on to executive session. This is executive session evaluation of township manager evaluation. We did that last.
No.
Clerk.
Should be
Township Clerk.
I
Clerk.
I might have not taken it out.
No, it says
Township
township
clerk.
manager here.
Well, on the
script.
agenda, it says
On the
clerk.
actual agenda, it
On the
says
actual,
clerk.
your notes
So we
are
are
wrong.
now, we are now going to evaluate the person who did not make my script.
Who
And
made
has
a
en-
mistake?
And has once again embarrassed me.
I'm sorry.
But there's no, it doesn't take much to embarrass me. So, authorize resolution 17-161, authorize executive session personnel township clerk evaluation is presented to the township council for adoption. Do I have a motion?
So move.
161 or 162?
And is it-
162.
Okay.
162. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second, and any discussion on going into executive session? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Wright?
So at this time, the Township Council will adjourn to the executive session to discuss personnel, Township Clerk evaluation. No other actions will be taken by the Township Council at the conclusion of the executive session. Therefore, the recording of this meeting will end now. Have a good night. Be well, Franklin.